What are gods? A fairy tale, a dream, a lie, a law, a mass psychosis, a means to manipulate the masses, the soft tongues of monarchs, a logic, logos. A psychological, philosophical, mythological, mystical, religious, spiritual principle of the universe, of the psyche or soul, of the mind, of the heart, the fractal universe, love or hate, war or peace, nature, a substance, manifestations of the substance, the one, maybe all. How can billions of people believe so naturally in God or gods? Plato, Pythagoras, Socrates, Aristotle, Spinoza. Young Voltaire was called the devil, but he eventually believed in God. Newton believed in God. Einstein believed in Spinoza's God. Jung knew God. Jung's idea of God as a psychological reality is worth expanding because the psychological reality is, without a doubt, our most real reality. In his commentary on The Secret of the Golden Flower, he wrote, "The gods have become diseases. Zeus no longer rules Olympus, but rather the solar plexus. This ties gods to our inner world, and Jung fulfilled with nobility the duty of charting the divine as it pulses through us. He saw gods as archetypes, ancient patterns carved into a collective unconscious we all share, scaffolding of our souls, instincts dressed in stories. When we face a god, we're staring at ourselves magnified, a shard of eternity reflecting back. Gods are in almost all political discourses, especially if they have to be enforced properly. Most of us say we don't believe in God, but upon further inquiry, we find that the disbelief was actually a belief in a higher entity, spirit, reality, or consciousness. There are also some mislabeled atheists as well. The bottom line is that it's something there. The unknown variable. The incredible intelligence that is undeniably necessary to make this complex reality even possible. An intelligence that hums in the weave of existence, with vibration and information and energy. In the arc of a galaxy, the twist of DNA, the flicker of a synapse. It's vast and alive, a craftsman's hand threading chaos into meaning. It is also a power because it sets things in motion, and maybe it is even a motion or all motion. There are all types of believers and knowers with all sorts of flavors. Theists, pantheists, monotheists, polytheists, paganists, Christians, Hermetists, Gnostics, Judaists, Muslim. How is this possible? How can so many people, the overwhelming majority of peoples throughout history and millennia, be so possessed by the idea of God? We know for sure that the gods affected us tremendously over the past millennia in ways that are unexpected, bizarre, exhilarating, enlightening, and terrifying. Is it everything a metaphor or an allegory? Were they incarnated or not? It depends on what you read, who you listen to, and of course, ultimately what you decide to believe in. But that's not what this video is about anyway. This video is about how gods affect us, even if nothing is real. The effects are real, because people made it so through their actions performed creatively or destructively in the name of God. The truth is that the psychological reality of gods within our minds since forever is a great indicator that we should read these books before we throw them in the fire. We should read all of them before deciding to worship a particular god. Locking away our curiosity just because you thought the next book couldn't blow our minds or educate us as well is lazy. Your parents' beliefs are not your beliefs automatically. The light of God refracts in a splendor of colors. We've been chasing the idea of gods and seem to run in circles. The concepts that seem to hold the universe together also tear it apart. We've called them archetypes, mirrors, anchors, and little ignitions of awe, reverence, piety, and wonder. We've wondered why they grip us so fiercely and linger in our bones across millennia, but the question isn't answered, and will never be answered entirely. It's only grown heavier, more tantalizing, more vibrant, just more. It never ends. It's continuously being written on the atoms of the present, literally. So let's keep going. Why stop after all? This is the greatest mystery of all. It deserves our undisturbed attention and patience. You cannot speak about gods properly if the muses don't inspire you, and the tongue of your truth is not sharp and restless, and your breath is not from the gods directly as a birthright. One needs to understand God entirely, completely, the good and the bad, the sacred and the profane. This supposed entity creates or emanates or manifests or vibrates itself into existence. You are part of it, and it is you, and you are it, and we are all one, and many. While some may think this is babble, this is exactly the proof of your godly nature, the reason for your godly future, the reason to act in consequence, fellow God. So let's plunge into the shadows and the light. Ask yourself, what else are gods? What do they mean for us now, in this fractured, fleeting moment of history? Gods are bridges to the infinite or the oneness that includes us and makes us all. We're stuck in bodies that ache and die, bound by time and gravity, yet we dream of eternity. Gods are our way of reaching for that forever, of touching something that doesn't crumble. A prayer, a ritual, a moment of transcendence. It's like grabbing the rope and swinging, even if you're not sure what's on the other side. But bridges can be treacherous. Lean too hard on faith and you might lose sight of the ground. Dogma can blind you to the world's messy truths and make you vulnerable to any oppressor and tyrant who knows how to fake the voice of God. And then some people think that gods don't exist because some kings and current countries use them as propaganda. And then reject the bridge entirely and you're left staring into the void, which isn't as liberating as it sounds. Existential dread is heartless and ruthless and senseless, literally and metaphorically. A heavy backpack, feel that weight. It's the void staring back, cold and unyielding. But voids aren't just endings, they're beginnings, blank pages aching for ink. So maybe the trick is balance. Use gods to glimpse the infinite, but don't forget the dirt under your feet. The mystics knew this. Rumi, Teresa of Avila, the Zen masters, they danced on that rope, neither clinging nor falling. Maybe even Nietzsche knew this. Yet his rope walker fell in Zarathustra's story. Nietzsche's late works, like The Gay Science, give us the famous line, "God is dead, God remains dead, and we have killed him." It's a call to confront the void and create meaning. Let's deepen that. Nietzsche didn't mourn gods, he buried them and dared us to rise. His death of God isn't an end, it's a beginning. Without divine crutches, we're left raw, peering into nothingness. But then he offers the Übermensch, the one who forges new values from the ashes. Gods might be gone, but their echoes push us to become more than we are. But let's get specific. What gods do we worship today, really? Sure, we have gods in churches, temples, and mosques, yes. But think of the ones we don't even name. Money is a big one. I need not say how ubiquitous it is, how embedded it is into everything we know. It's really the reason why the world spins today. Money is shiny, demanding, promising salvation through a bigger house or a better phone. Progress is another, with its gospel of innovation and tech utopias. Then there's fame, the fickle deity we chase on screens, offering immortality and likes and retweets. We don't bow to them like we do to statues, yet they shape our lives as surely as Zeus or Yahweh ever did. Here's the funny part. None of these modern gods is new. They're just old ones in new clothes. Money's the descendant of harvest gods, promising abundance. Does Plautos sound familiar? Money echoes Plutus, the Greek god of wealth, who once blessed fields with grain and now dangles salvation in skyscrapers and stock markets. It's an old promise in a new skin. Abundance, security, eternity. If we just keep feeding it our hours, our dreams, we don't burn offerings anymore, we burn ourselves, chasing a harvest that slips through our fingers like the finest sand that never ends to turn time however it pleases. Progress is the enlightenment of Athena or Thoth. It's the fire of Prometheus I keep obsessing over and propagating to my viewers and dear friends continuously. Fame. Think about Apollo, craving applause. Think about Orpheus and his seducing chants. We've swapped pantheons, but the human need to worship, to aspire, or to believe stays the same. So, are we really so different from our ancestors, or are we just praying to different idols? Gods are also power. This is a thread we haven't tugged hard enough. If you think about it, gods are often tied to authority, aren't they? Kings claim divine right as pharaohs became one with Ra, and King Jesus was one with his Father and the Holy Spirit. Priests kept holy books like scepters. Even today, politicians invoke God to rally the masses. It's easy to see gods as tools of control, propping up hierarchies or justifying wars. And yes, that's part of the story. Crusades, jihad, witch hunts, all fueled by divine mandates. But flip the coin, and gods can be rebels too. They've inspired uprisings. From the Hebrew slaves defying Pharaoh to liberation theologians fighting oppression. Gods can empower the powerless, giving voice to the marginalized. Think of the Orishas in African diaspora religions, carrying hope through centuries of suffering. So are gods chains or wings, oppressors or liberators? The answer's not clean, it's both. Always both. Depending, of course, on who's wielding the myth. Shackles when tyrants twist them into dogma, wings when rebels claim them as freedom. It's not the god that matters, it's the hands that wield the myth. One binds, another lifts. Now let's get quiet for a moment. Sit with that silence a moment. It's heavier than it seems. Let it press down. Now consider, what if gods aren't meant to fill it? What if they're the shapes we carve from it instead? Ask yourself, what about when gods don't speak? When prayers go unanswered? When suffering feels random? When the heavens are just silent? That silence can break people like an unbearable reality. It's driven some to atheism, others to despair. But there's another path. Maybe the silence is part of the deal. Maybe gods aren't vending machines for miracles. Maybe they're invitations to wrestle with the unknown. The Book of Job is a great example in this regard, and I owe a video to my dear viewers that is completely dedicated to this subject, I know. But what's important about Job is that God shows up, but doesn't explain the pain, just points to the vastness of creation and shows you how ruthless it can be. When your God makes pacts with Satan to test you, you know it's all going south on you, baby. None of your screams will be taken into account. None of your defenses or logic will matter, because the Ouroboros needs to continue its spirals. The Buddhists sidestep it altogether, saying the divine is in the letting go, not the asking. Silence forces us to confront ourselves, to find meaning without a cosmic PowerPoint presentation. As Pascal once said, all of humanity's problems stem from our inability to sit quietly in a room alone. It's brutal, but it's honest. And maybe that's where gods live. Not in the answers, but in the courage to keep questioning. Here's a wild thought. What if the gods are art? Then they're not true or false. They're expressions like a song that grips your chest without needing proof. They demand to be felt, not proven, wild, messy, alive. Not just the statues or hymns, but the act of creation itself, you know. When we invent gods, we're sculpting our fears, hopes, and dreams into something tangible. A myth is a painting, a prayer is a poem, a temple is a symphony. Like any artist, we're trying to say something true, even if it's messy or incomplete. This lens makes gods less about truth and more about expression. Does it matter if the Vitruvian Man exists? No, it moves us anyway. Same with gods. Their reality isn't the point, their impact is. Every culture's pantheon is a gallery, showcasing what it means to be human in that time and place. And just like art, gods evolve. New brushstrokes, new colors, new meanings, as we grow. Now zoom out. What if gods are a collective dream? This dream binds us across tribes, eras, and continents. It's why a Greek myth can still resonate in a Tokyo subway, why a Sufi poem can stir a heart in Nebraska. Gods are the language of that dream, a way to say, we're in this together. But dreams can turn into nightmares. When we cling too tightly to one version of the dream, we exclude others. My God versus your God, my truth versus yours. There are as many truths as people and living beings and other forms of beings. The wars, the schisms, the burnings, they come from forgetting that the dream is shared. And perhaps the challenge is to keep dreaming together, letting the story grow without tearing it apart. So where does this leave us? Still searching and still wondering, of course. That's the beauty of it. Gods are the horizon to chase. They're the questions that keep us awake at night, the stories that light our way, the doubts that sharpen our minds. Whether they're real or imagined, eternal or fleeting, they're part of us. They are etched in our art, our wars, and our whispers to the dark. But we won't stop here. We keep reading, keep arguing, and keep dreaming, because that's all that we have. Pick up the Vedas, the Quran, the Eddas, and the skeptics' blogs. Let them clash and ignite. Test your beliefs like steel in a forge, but don't be afraid to hold them lightly too. The absolute truth, if there is one, lives in the tension, in the liminal space between knowing and not knowing. That's where everything is. And maybe, just maybe, the gods are watching. Or maybe we're the ones watching, creating them with every thought we have and every step we take. Either way, the journey's worth it. So let's keep walking. Don't forget to subscribe, activate the notification bell, support if you have the means, and think what I do is important. And spread the word, because it's time.